Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a real masterclass on building a highly efficient home solar system, completely step by step. We're going to take all that confusion right out of the equation and focus entirely on how to squeeze every ounce of performance out of your hardware. So let's jump right in.
Now, you gotta ask yourself, why do some incredibly expensive solar systems just fail entirely? Seriously, it is a heartbreaking reality for so many DIYers out there. You could drop thousands of dollars on absolute top tier solar panels, and you could buy the biggest, most premium batteries on the market. But if the actual wiring, the nervous system connecting all that hardware together, if that's done incorrectly, that huge financial investment is literally useless. The system just won't give you the power you paid for. The secret here isn't just about the panels, it's all about the pathways.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll start with the solar wiring challenge, then we'll hit Rule 1, individual wiring, Rule 2, copper and gauge, Rule 3, central placement, and finally, we'll look at what your high-performing setup actually looks like. All right, part 1, the solar wiring challenge and why we absolutely need to move past standard AC rules. You see, this right here is where so many people get tripped up right at the starting line. There's a massive, fundamental difference between how your standard AC home wiring works and what DC solar wiring actually needs. In a typical house setup, you might use a common neutral wire that just runs throughout the entire house, handling the return from multiple appliances. And hey, that works great for the grid. But solar setups? They operate on direct current, and that absolutely requires individual positive and negative wires. You simply cannot rely on those old AC assumptions and expect your solar hardware to actually function. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you ignore that rule. If you try to use a single, thick wire from multiple appliances in a DC setup, you are literally inviting chaos. We're talking unpredictable voltage fluctuations, dangerous sparking, and massive amp loss. In real, practical terms, it means when you flip the switch, you're going to get these sad, dimming lights and incredibly slow fans that barely push any air at all. It's just not going to work. Moving on to Section 2, Rule 1. Individual wiring, and creating dedicated paths for your appliances. So this brings us to the very first pillar of our strategy, individual DC wiring. What does that actually mean? Well, it means bringing two completely separate wires, one positive and one negative, from every single appliance straight back to the power source. If you're wiring this yourself, you have to treat every appliance as a totally independent connection. Your LED bulbs, they need a dedicated path. Your fans, dedicated path. Your air coolers, yep, dedicated path. It's kind of like building a private two-lane highway for every single piece of electronics in your house. So where do all these private highways actually go? Well, the source material gives us some very specific actionable advice on exactly where to plug these in to finish the circuit. Those individual positive and negative wires, they need to terminate directly at the load port on your charge controller. Or if you happen to be running an MPPT controller setup, you actually wire them directly to the battery itself. That is the absolute only way to make sure you're getting clean, uninterrupted power delivery. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Rule 2. Copper and gauge, or sizing up your materials. Okay, so we've talked about how to route the wires, but the physical materials you're actually holding in your hands, they matter just as much. And the source is completely non-negotiable on this one. Always use copper, never silver. Seriously, if you try to cut corners with thin, low-quality junk wire or silver, your system's performance is going to absolutely plummet. Pure copper is the undisputed king for DC solar wiring. No exceptions. So the crucial point here is getting the actual wire size right. I'd highly recommend pausing this explainer for a second to maybe screenshot these exact specs before your next hardware store trip. For your standard bulbs, you gotta use a 2mm wire. But when you step up to heavier loads like fans, and that's whether they're straight DC fans or those AC/DC hybrid models, you need to bump that up to a 4mm wire. Doing that is absolutely essential to prevent ampere loss. Now, if you're a beginner at this, you might be feeling a little anxious right now about having to go out and buy all new specialty DC hardware for your walls. Well, take a deep breath because you don't have to. The guide points out a massive relief: standard AC hardware compatibility. Your existing AC light bulb holders, your standard wall switches, your normal sockets, they all work perfectly fine with these DC connections. You really don't need to reinvent the wheel for the fixtures themselves, just the wires behind them. All right, Section 4. Rule 3. Central placement and dialing in your power strategy.
This final rule is honestly the absolute most important strategy when it comes to saving money and minimizing your overall energy loss. A super common but completely devastating mistake is taking that battery and isolating it in some far corner room or way out at the edge of the house. Why? Because in DC systems, long wire runs cause huge ampere losses. You're literally losing power simply traveling the distance. Plus, buying all that extra heavy gauge copper wire is going to drastically drive up your installation costs. It's just a lose-lose situation. Instead, you really need to use what the source calls the midpoint strategy. Let's walk through exactly how to do this. First, grab your floor plan and find the absolute middle, the center point of your home. Second, you want to install your solar setup right there. Your battery, your charge controller, put them right in that central junction. And third, run your shorter wires out to all the rooms from that hub. By acting as the center of a wheel, you drastically cut down the cable length going to places like the kitchen, the bedrooms, or the garage. You use less wire, you save a ton of money, and you get maximum efficiency with almost zero energy loss. Section 5. Your high-performing setup and bringing all these rules together. Now, what's really interesting here is how bringing all these elements together creates such a rock-solid system. The path to peak efficiency really just requires three things working in perfect harmony. You need dedicated positive and negative pairs for every single appliance. You need pure copper wire, sized correctly, remember, 2 millimeters for lights and 4 millimeters for fans. And finally, you need that centralized midpoint layout for your battery and controller. If you follow those systematic steps, you will literally guarantee full power delivery to every single room in your house. So, I want to leave you with a question to really get the gears turning for your own project. Take a look at your floor plan today. Where is the absolute center point of your home? And more importantly, is that space ready to house your new solar setup? Getting that central hub right is your very first step toward building a perfect off-grid system. Start planning those wire runs, remember your copper gauges, and you're going to be well on your way to mastering DC solar wiring. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy building!